I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's 3 or 4 years ago and have felt miserable. Could not lose weight, exhausted, wasn't sleeping. My husband actually started working with Mike back in October, I think it was. And he has had amazing results in just the first even couple months. So in the past, I have actually done saliva, I think it's called a ZRT saliva test for the hormones. So we did the Dutch test, which showed some more info than what the saliva test had showed. And it showed some different things that we needed to work with, which you very quickly went through and explained what we needed to do to fix some of those markers that were showing on my test that didn't show on the other test, and that the other functional doctor that I was working with did not go over with me. I have always been able to lose like 8 to 10 pounds, kind of cutting calories, watching macros, and I've done that in the past, probably for the last 11 or so years.
I gotta ask, how low would you have to cut?
Maybe 1,600 calories, and now you have me at like 1,900 calories.
Okay.
And I've lost 15 pounds since January, so that's a little hard fact to see.
All right, welcome to the mjover show, and I'm going to first welcome you in and let you know what this show is really about, because this is going to be our first episode. I want to remind you, because we happen to have some audio technical difficulties for this first episode, so you're not going to get the best audio quality. But again, that's me. I'm raw, I'm real. Everybody that knows me knows that I like to speak from the heart. So bear with me in episode 1 here as we work through to help really educate you guys, teach you some things about hormonal health, things that you guys are possibly dealing with on a day in, day out basis, but also interview some awesome clients, interview some people, and even go to restaurants that offer really healthy dishes and get you to start seeing the benefits of how education can be a blessing to people in the holistic and actually functional medicine world. So I'd like to welcome 𝕤𝕠𝕝𝕝𝕝.
Hi.
Nice to meet you, right? Now, here's the big question. What brought Julie into Revive Systems?
All right, so I will make this a little shorter than it is. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's 3 or 4 years ago and have felt miserable. Could not lose weight, exhausted, wasn't sleeping. My husband actually started working with Mike back in October, I think it was. And he has had amazing results in just the first even couple months. And I could see what Mike was doing. Even everything that you do on your Facebook pages, your social media pages, I can see all of the information and the knowledge that you know and you have to share. So at some point, my husband Andy mentioned about working with you, and so I had some questions about what your ability working with a woman was, and they were answered very quickly. So I now have complete trust. You've helped me tremendously. So yeah, it's been great.
And so it was really the seeing of Andrew getting some great results that
Yes.
kind of kicked you into that, well, maybe he does need to know what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then also, he did come to my gym for a while.
I did. Yes, I did.
So you knew I wasn't some strange
Right.
danger that
Right.
off the street trying to, like we see in today's world, right? These
Yes.
guys that pop up, hey, I'm an online coach. So is everybody else in today's world. But
Right.
this guy actually, I mean, my gym was actually, I would say over 80% women. It was a
Yeah,
lot
there's
of
a
women.
lot there. So
And so when I did shut this thing down, I just kept getting questions from women all the time. And now here I am, the middle-aged 30 man that just knows women's hormones. So my next question for you is, when we first came in, was there skepticism, and what did you start seeing initially right off the bat?
So I don't know that there was skepticism as much. It was more just I needed to be able to build trust. I'm a very trust person, and that's just how I operate. So you were great with coming up with meal plans. We did some phasing of foods and phasing of exercises, which was huge with me. And it wasn't foreign, so I understood the concepts. But the way that you did it, the way that we made some changes throughout the week and not just month to month, I saw results almost immediately. So even just within energy and feeling better, if it wasn't losing a bunch of weight right away.
Yeah.
So
And so the non-quantitative values of
Yes.
change also were important, which I feel like are to a lot of women. It's,
Yep.
I just want to wake up and not feel exhausted anymore. And that's what some women deal with. And then the energy to play with your kids, right?
yes.
And that was important.
That was my big thing was I have 2 boys. They are currently 11 and 13. So they're getting to the age where they don't always want mommy and daddy around. But I still wanted to be able to play and have energy. And when they say, hey, can we go do this? Can we go kick a soccer ball? Can we go to the parks? I wanted to be able to do it without feeling exhausted and sometimes feeling like I just really don't want to be with the kids.
Yeah.
So
And the big thing I'm kind of curious about is, you trusted a male that's 35 years, I think I'm 35, 35 years old. You trusted a male to read your hormones. And so we even did some testing, didn't we?
We did. So in the past, I have actually done saliva. I think it's called a ZRT saliva test for the hormones. So we did the Dutch test, which showed some more info than what the saliva test had showed.
Yeah.
And it showed some different things that we needed to work with, which you very quickly went through and explained what we needed to do to fix some of those markers that were showing on my test that didn't show on the other test, and that the other functional doctor that I was working with did not go over with me.
And see, that's always a blessing because, and that's what I try to tell clients is that a lot of women come into me with getting blood work or labs. Like, oh my gosh, I look good on labs. And I'm like, well, did you ever have actually deep cellular work done in the right way? Because we know that blood work is just instantaneously going to tell you how that value is. But we know with your hormones, especially cycling females, that they go over the course of 30 days.
Yep.
So when we did see that, we found out some interesting things about even your comp genes and how you're detoxing estrogen and work that. And then now let's kind of talk into the start of the phases where you start to see some different changes that you were never able to see before.
Right. So I have always been able to lose like 8 to 10 pounds, kind of cutting calories, watching macros. And I've done that in the past, probably for the last 11 or so years.
And I gotta ask, how low would you have to cut?
Maybe 1,600 calories. And now you have me at like 1,900 calories.
Okay.
And I've lost 15 pounds since January. So that's a little hard fact to see.
Yeah.
And then the workouts, I feel like, I guess it was probably along with the nutrition, I feel like I could actually see the muscle definition, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like I'm losing some of the fat that has always kind of been there and just some of the extra fluff.
Yeah.
So, and it's nice. Like I've always hit that 10 pound and I would like plateau.
Yeah.
And so like I still have had that, but we've been able to work with things and then we can, lose a couple more pounds, which has been great. And I know we're going to be in the process of doing another round of that.
Next week, she's in for it. So I
might be a little nervous.
So that's what, that's the biggest thing I like to get the women to understand is that, whenever you do come into a good quality coaching program, it's not that we're going to beat you to the ground and start making you do insane things, 2 workouts a day, cutting your calories super low. And my goal is to get the body healthy and heal first so that way it can respond and have the result that you want later.
So that's made me think of something. That was the key with you, I think, is that when you go to a gym, the trainers are great and they want to help you learn how to work out and do the exercises, but the nutrition part isn't there as well. So when we started, you started me like, I think it was the first week or 10 days of pretty much just fruits and vegetables, which sounds intimidating to some people. And honestly, it wasn't bad at all. Like I actually felt really good, had more energy during that first week, didn't miss the beef at all, like the red meats. Because I know people ask like, do you crave it? And I'm like, I don't think that I do. Like I really didn't miss it when I was not doing it.
You go through phases when you do actually eliminate foods from your diet of like stuff that you used to love. Right. And I mean, I did for myself. I used to be addicted to condiments and like ketchup. Yeah. Yes. And I went through a couple of different phases of nutrition. And I'm like, I don't want ketchup ever anymore. Yeah, I don't. But do a whole lot of that. It's definitely different whenever you have that process, I think. And that's just where I think for you now, understanding that even with the training, and that's what we discussed with you now, actually, we have gotten her involved with what's called Mira, which now I can see her hormones on a daily basis of how they're working every day from her cycle. So it's very interesting for people that are trying to get pregnant, people that are ovulating at different times, having different thoughts and processes around their energy levels throughout their cycle. But the cool thing that we're using this now, and actually that I've always known, but now more so precisely, she's now heading into the luteal phase and she's getting these little bit of surges from progesterone and still having some high levels. So my big assumption is now a lot of people don't know that we can cycle her nutrition and her training around this and take advantage of it. Right? Yeah. So that's what we're kind of playing with why we want to initiate a new cut for her.
Yeah. So it's pretty amazing. I had another thought, I can't think of what it is now. But just cycling the food with that, and then the workouts with the nutrition, I really like that part. Because again, when you're at a gym, the nutrition piece isn't there. And so that was something that was just huge that you were able to do that. And I could feel good while I was working out, higher carbs, harder workouts kind of thing. And so, it was good.
Well, I appreciate you joining us today, and I really appreciate you obviously trusting the
Yes.
man behind the wheel here. And
Absolutely.
my last question is this: would you, recommend this to another female on the
Oh,
edge of
100%. Yeah.
needing something?
100%. And even, it's not even just so I'm 46 years old, so that might be a good point. So I am definitely not looking to have kids anymore, but I am approaching that perimenopause stage. And so this is great because it's going to help me be able to go through that without being miserable. I think I said this to you earlier today, like I've never bought into the doctors that tell you, well, you're just getting old and so deal with it. Like I don't believe that. I've never believed that. I don't want to be the couples that hobble into a store together and can barely walk. Like I want the energy. I want to be skipping through the parking lot to be able to get to the store wherever we are.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a great way to do that. And the mirror thing is awesome.
Yeah.
To help with that.
Well,
So
I'm excited, and I thank you for joining me today.
yeah, no,
And
thanks for having me.
can't wait to start changing some more lives. All right, so thanks for tuning in, and make sure you like, subscribe, and if you know this amazing lady, give it a share. Let's go. All right, have a blessed day.